So we're heading to lunch for Tom Wright. We're at Seattle Pacific University, and I've stumbled across the parking lot that's close to Gwynn Commons. Here's coat check. You can see all the nice coats and some biker jacket. I wonder who that is.
Can you begin now? Is that all right? Okay, I'll tell the story again. Since it is clearly more apposite than I thought it was going to be, the bishop is struggling with his equipment, and the congregation has a service sheet that they are expecting to follow through. And the bishop says, there's something wrong with this microphone, and the congregation immediately responds, and also with you. Response. Why did he remain silent? Is it because actually there is no such thing as absolute truth? Is it because truth is simply relative and is always subjective? And I was fascinated that this correspondent, who I said no idea where he was coming from, this question came out of the blue. I was fascinated that he correlated Pilate's question about truth with the question about the war in Iraq, and whether Tony Blair had told the country the truth about whether there were weapons of mass destruction, whether there was a threat, etc., etc. Because actually, in John chapters 18 and 19, when Jesus is standing before Pontius Pilate, in that very detailed description of Jesus' hearing before the Roman governor, we have question after question and issue after issue which resonate exactly with these two themes of postmodernity on the one hand, the question of what is truth, and with empire on the other, when Pilate is the representative of the greatest empire the world had at that stage ever known, the Roman Empire, which proclaimed that it believed in freedom and justice and peace, and had a moral obligation to share this freedom and justice and peace with the rest of the world. Now, without getting too obvious, we British believed in the 19th century that we had an empire based on freedom and justice and peace, and we had an obligation to share it with the rest of the world. And it's remarkable how few words there are in the imperial vocabulary, because that is, of course, how today's pan-Western empire still sees itself. The problem to which modernity was supposed to be the answer was the perceived problem of evil after particularly the Lisbon earthquake, interestingly, in 1755. But the project of modernity was a way of saying, well, nasty things may happen, but we're basically going to organize the world within an inch of its little life, and as a result, we will actually banish evil from the face of the earth. Isn't it amazing our politicians still talking as though that is the agenda? We're going to make these moves and change this tax law and that housing condition and do this in Africa and this in Asia, and then we'll basically have got this evil thing sussed. And then along comes 9/11, and we're right back to the beginning again. And this is what I'm going to be talking about probably tomorrow night, because then, having lived the modernist dream, when radical evil happens, you don't know what to do about it. Announce the doctrine of the fall to arrogant modernity. To say, it's not that easy, guys, you're just building the Tower of Babel, and God is coming down to have a little people at it, and to confuse your languages. And so postmodernity is in all sorts of ways like a Babel come again. Here was this grand project, and now it's all come crumbling down. Images of 9/11, I'm afraid, yet once more. But now, the confusion of tongues, which is postmodernity, but which now is generating a new kind of worldview, its own story. Within postmodernity, God is sometimes assumed to be a very old, silly dream that's long gone. But the empire actually cannot take account of postmodernity, because it's got power. And people in university departments can scream, can deconstruct, can write counter-critical theses till they're blue in the face. And the empire just goes and destroys another bit of the rainforest because it needs it for whatever particular economic, political project it's got. Even more, the empire actually co-opts postmodernity to prevent critique, because it uses the tools of postmodernity, spin and smear and the challenging of all truth claims, to dismiss its opponents as airy-fairy fanatics. Where does all this get us? Well, the death and resurrection of Jesus in the New Testament are the climax and centre of world history in the sovereign purposes of the Creator God. The New Testament says in different ways on every other page that this is the ultimate exodus. This is the real return from exile. This is the moment when God defeats the powers of evil. And our attitude to the world, and here in the university we can really celebrate this, is that we are not studying facts in the abstract as though we've got these facts in a test tube or whatever and we can just do things to them and learn them as though they're over against us. No. The Christian calling is to know the world with the knowledge that approximates to love. And the point about love and the epistemology which love generates is that love both affirms the otherness of the object while remaining in deep, close and rich subjective relationship to it. Love transcends the objective-subjective divide.